Hi, Ellis. How are you?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm great, thanks. So, guys, I'm Amber. I'm the founder of the Extreme Hangout. Ellis, tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so my name is Ellysium. I'm an 18-year-old American electric racing driver. So I've been in the sport since about 2019. And yeah, have been competing mostly in Europe these past 4.5 years and are lining up some pretty cool things in the electric motorsport space this year and super excited to get to share some of that with everyone over at Extreme Hangout.
Well, that's fantastic to hear. When you meet a racing car driver, they don't normally lead with, I'm an electric racing car driver. So tell me, what was it that motivated that aspect of?
It was mainly just an accessibility thing for us. When it comes to electric motorsport, especially in the sort of junior categories, it's arrive and drive. So you pretty much, you don't need to bring your own go kart in a trailer. It's was a lot more, economically accessible for us. The budgets were a lot smaller. So that's a big factor in motorsport, especially now. I think everyone knows the Lance Stroll story if you're an F1 fan. So that wasn't the sort of pathway that was going to be available for me. So we sort of then found our way through sustainability and the e-mobility and green energy side with that. Obviously, it was only a matter of time when we jumped into an electric race car that we were going to figure out about the sustainability side. So then when we had that platform of fans, we were like, all right, now it's time to push that positive message.
We love that. And that's exactly what we're trying to do at the Extreme Hangout too. So we know already we're super aligned. But please tell us so what it is that you like about the Extreme Hangout and what we're doing here, and what has enticed you. What made you reach out and say, yes, I'd like to host an Extreme Hangout, and let's do it in the metaverse.
Yeah, I mean, it's been to a million, conferences from things like Autosport, which are completely racing focused, some other ones that are completely sustainability focused. But I think
Mm.
what Extreme Hangout does really well is keeping the engagement really high. When it comes to, a lot of these conferences, it's really easy to sit and watch people talk all day. And, we can all handle some data and statistics, but it's a lot after a while. So, I think we really enjoy what you guys are doing with, bringing in that, engaging side for especially the younger generation like me, where we need something to really grab our attention. And then pairing that with the metaverse, it just completely widens the scope of the amount of people that can attend because it's, completely virtual. So when you look at having something like that and being able to not only bring instead of just a Zoom meeting and watching presentations for a couple hours, we get to bring people in. They're in different avatars, jumping around, exploring. So I think it's going to be really, really cool.
No, well, it's fantastic. We all literally jumped out of our seats when we received the email from you. We were so excited. We were like, why didn't we think of that before? But it's just a perfect venue for it. And we have young people hosting in literally so many different countries around the world, from Rwanda to Nigeria to Argentina to Canada, Portugal, Netherlands. They are popping up everywhere. But this was such a fresh and beautiful idea. And that's exactly why the climate conversation needs young people, because we need fresh ideas and fresh motivation for everybody. So how important is the community in the fight to reverse climate change? And particularly, I mean, let's have a look at it from youth community, but also sports, because we know, I mean, sports are like the influences of them, the biggest influences in the world, the sports stars, the clubs, the F1s of these world, they're huge influences.
Yeah, I mean, the more the merrier, right? I think when you look at sort of
Definitely.
scale, individually, someone doesn't have the same budget as one of these large companies that they can sort of move millions of dollars around to make what they need to happen. But when you look at sort of small scale changes on a personal level, but when you add 10, 20, 100,000 people to that pool, then it really sort of adds up. So when you look at community size, it makes the average person be able to have such a large impact just by sort of getting the power in numbers together. And we definitely need this sort of younger generation engagement, which sort of we say the our meter is very high when we can tell something's up or someone's not being truly honest, whether it's a big company about their efforts and what they're doing. So when you look at just getting purely people together, I think that's really the key to success.
I couldn't agree with you more, Alice. And you're so right. You guys have grown up with all of this technology at your fingertips. I mean, I look at my little niece and nephew. I mean, They know how to use the phone at the age of 3 way better than me. They navigate their way around it just brilliantly. My brain is never going to work like that. I just didn't grow up like that. But again, that goes to why it's so important, this critical lens, and just the fresh perspective, not just of youth, but also other marginalized communities around the world. We're super proud of the fact that at our COP events, we've had over 60% of the speakers be women, because we're trying to help embolden and empower the female voice, very much specifically in this climate area. And we've also had more than 140 different nationalities on our stage. Well, every single one of these people is coming with different stories, different culture, different heritage. And that energy, we need that. It's fresh and it's absolutely vital. So thinking about who are your great inspirations, who are the people that either you found in your motorsports world and on social medias, who are the people who inspire you the most?
Yeah, I think anyone that follows me knows that Ayrton Senna, who is F1 driver, sort of in the sort of late 80s
I
up
know
to
who he was.
awesome.
Yeah.
I think, obviously pure racing driver, and it's someone in the sport that had a large impact, but I also think, obviously it's not the same lens of sustainability, but when you look at the impact he had on his country outside of the racing circuit, I think using that as not a template, but just a idea of what's possible when you sort of build a loyal following, I think is really, really applicable to sort of the new stage of electric motorsport. Is he was sort of the only one I see in that era that was sort of pushing forward, but then also off track had, it was they lined the streets when he would come for Brazil to race. So I think finding a way to have that level of impact is what's really important, especially with sports, because you have such a high potential for large fan engagement.
Oh, 1,000,000%. And then, as you've said, I mean, Ayrton Senna, you say the name in Brazil, the entire country lights up. And you're 100% right. For many of these developing nations around the world, their sports stars are very often the first introduction for the rest of the world to some of these more far-flung places, or widely previously thought of as far-flung places. I mean, our world is so small today, and this is what's beautiful about the metaverse and other places, because, and indeed here on a Zoom as well, because then we can interconnect. But yeah, the role of these sports influencers is massive, and it's really exciting to see more and more people in the sporting world come and lean in on this climate conversation too. In fact, we've got a representative from the FIA coming and speaking at our event in London this week. So we love all of this engagement. Now, so yeah, obviously you're an amazing young talent in a very super cool sporting area. What does it mean to you having your voice? You're really leaning into this. Yeah, you found it, and you're obviously developing it. And what would you say to other people in the sports world as well, to encourage them perhaps to come in and lean to use their voices more too?
Yeah, I'd say just do what you can with what you have. It doesn't matter if you have 10 followers or 10,000 followers. If you're sort of in your sport and you feel like you can push something positive. For us, it's been heavy on the sustainability side, but it can be even more specific than that. If you're someone that travels to the track every day in a electric car, or you're in the process of putting some solar panels on your roof, just document the process and give people a little insight in how you're doing it. It's a lot of times you see it when it's already done. Some of these houses kitted out with pretty much everything complete, but people want to see the process so they know sort of what they're getting into at the start. So I think really just letting people into your world, no matter how large your fan base is what's really important, because that's how you sort of give them something to spark their imagination.
I love that. At the Extreme Hangout, we're often talking about the fact that we need 8 billion imperfect environmentalists, not a handful of perfect ones. So what you said just then absolutely leans to that. I mean, I'm not a perfect environmentalist. I wish I could be, but it's not yet possible in the world that we live in today. So it's about sharing those stories, those touch points about what it is that we feel that we can do. Because yeah, you suddenly get billions of people making small changes here and there because they're seeing their friends, their family, their community doing it. Then you really start to have big shift. And that's exactly what we need. And Alice, you have an exciting season ahead. Will you tell us, where's your next race? What have you got planned for this year?
Yeah, we a lot of it's still under wraps, so we are still in the sort of negotiation side of a lot of things, but we'll be back in America for Nitro Cross this year. So it's going to be my first full year rally cross and my first year racing the United States. So I've been in Europe for almost 5 years now. So it's nice to get back home and get to sort of get back on home soil, and going to be lots of action-packed racing. We've got a really, really cool calendar on the Nitro Cross side, and we're going to be doing a ton more stuff like this with the metaverse and on our socials as well. So I'm sure this won't be the last time that sort of your side of the community sees me, and we're going to be going, full push ahead on track and off track action. So it's going to be quite a year to follow along. It's already starting to kick off, and organizing the calendar has us, like stressed and excited at the same time when we realize that we are going to be sort of moving back home this year.
Oh, I think that must be really exciting for the family. And I know you've got unbelievably cool, supportive parents, which this must be an absolute joy. But to get back home to see wider family and friends as well. And I'm sure the fan base will just continue to grow. But we are so delighted to be collaborating with you at the Extreme Hangout. So thank you for all your time and your energy that you're putting in here. And we will be following and cheering, even if it is from long distance.
Absolutely, we appreciate it. And yeah, everyone that's watching, keep an eye on our socials, both on your guys' side and my side. We're gonna post a lot of sort of build the hype train while we're getting closer and closer. So I'm super excited. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll do lots of collaborative posts for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you.
It's great to chat. Thank you so much.